Hey guys, in this video I'm going to take you through the process of setting up, sketching, and drawing a candy bar wrapper using color pencil blending. The materials we'll be using are white drawing paper, a sketching pencil, a candy bar wrapper, color pencils, a glue stick, and a pair of scissors. You can use any type of candy bar for this project. Here are some examples using a Nestle Crunch Bar, M&Ms, Skittles, and a Kit Kat. Start by gently opening your candy package and emptying out the contents. Next, you want to remove the back part of the wrapper. Since we're going to be gluing down a portion of the front part of the wrapper, we need to take off this backing so that the wrapper will lay flat onto the page when it's glued down. You won't need the back part of the wrapper, so you can just toss that in the garbage when you're finished. Figure out where you want to position your wrapper on the page, and you're going to trace around the outside. Make sure the wrapper isn't too close to the edge of the drawing paper. You want to make sure there's at least a 1-inch space between any of the edges and then the edge of the page. Next, you're going to be cutting the candy bar wrapper in half. I wanted to show you a number of ways you can approach this to give you some ideas before you do your own. So the first idea is to do just a simple diagonal cut, going from corner to corner on the wrapper. I just did a straight line here, and then I'll be pasting down half of the wrapper and drawing in the opposite half. A different idea is by doing a double diagonal. This will split your candy bar wrapper into 4 pieces. You can glue down 2 of the pieces and then draw in the remaining ones. So here you can see how I removed the top and the bottom. That could look cool. Or I could remove the sides and then draw them in. So here's a little bit more of a complicated version. This is kind of almost like a windmill. So I did a number of cuts and then I pasted every other piece of the wrapper onto the area, and then I would draw on the parts that are missing. And the last example I have here is showing the wrapper cut with a curved line. So the truth is you can cut your wrapper in half any way you want, using a straight line, jagged line, curved line. Have fun and be creative with the way you decide to cut your candy bar wrapper in half. Just remember you need to draw at least 50% of the wrapper. Alright, let's get started. So I decided where I wanted to cut my candy bar wrapper in half, so I'm going to do kind of like a curved line. I sketched it on lightly with a pencil, and now I'm cutting it with a pair of scissors. I've already sketched the outline of the candy bar wrapper on the page. So now when I use my glue stick, I know exactly where I need to glue down that portion of the wrapper that I am not going to draw. So I put enough glue on the page and I press down all the way around the edges, making sure that that wrapper is really adhered to the page. Let the sketching begin. I've decided to add some of my candy onto my actual drawing. I think this has a really cool effect and it really makes the candy look realistic, especially when you add all the highlights and the shadows underneath of the candies. So here I'm just kind of actually using the light source that I have from my document camera. It's casting a bunch of those cast shadows onto my candies. So I just traced around them and then I'm freehand drawing in the candy right on top. And this will give me the exact positioning for where I want to draw my candy. Now I'm going to observe that part of the wrapper that I removed, and I'm going to start to draw in all of the details that I see on the wrapper as accurately to size and shape as possible. So you can see here I've already gotten a large portion of the sketch done. I'm using my skills of observation, I'm taking it slow, and just doing one part at a time. I'm erasing and adjusting, going back and editing my lines, and just trying to make sure I get all those details in where they really belong. Once your sketch is finished, you can start color pencil shading. So here you can see I've started to take an eraser and just kind of remove that top layer of graphite off of my page. For those of you who have watched my videos before, you'll know this is a tip that I use to make sure not so much graphite is mixing in with my color pencil as I'm shading. Using my color pencil blending skills and my knowledge of color theory, I'm going to start to color pencil in all of my candies and my wrapper. As I'm working, you'll notice that I'm doing a lot of color mixing, a lot of working in layers, a lot of putting in shadows, a lot of using white to blend out, and I'm also working those cast shadows at the same time. So you'll notice that my cast shadows are a little more vibrant than they are in real life. Cast shadows we always do in cool colors. Cool colors are blues, greens, and purples. So if you do your cast shadows in any of those colors, they'll look more artistic and vibrant in your artwork. Watch now as I do my very best to color match all of my details inside the actual wrapper. As a final touch, I use white paint and a tiny little paintbrush to add highlights and glares on the wrapper. So right along the ridges here, I'm going in and just adding little dashy lines. I'm adding some lines across the wrapper, so trying to make it look like the actual plastic. And then I'm going to go in with the paintbrush and paint some M's on some of my M&Ms to make those look super real. So I don't do every single one of them, so I'm trying to make it look like some of them are upside down, but there you have it, your candy bar wrapper drawing.